Hi, Dana here from Unschooling America. I'm here today to talk to you about unschooling and our homes. I think a lot of people coming to this life have a really hard time balancing culture's expectations, our culture's expectations of a totally spotless house and mutually living in harmony with everybody in the house and meeting everybody's needs. So let's talk about cleanliness for a minute and joy. I think a lot of unschoolers really mix things up a bit, and instead of doing what culture's expectations are, of following point A to point B to get to happiness, like you go to school, you get a good job, you make good money, and then you're happy after that. And going through all this difficulty will lead to that. Unschoolers really believe in living in joy and happiness now and modeling that for our kids, and in turn they're going to learn how to live a very happy, joyful life through following our passions and our interests, and will learn amazingly well as a side effect of living a rich, full life together. So in living this life, a lot of things we have to reprogram in our minds. We definitely have to reprogram how children learn. We all go through the deschooling process. We have to, a lot of us go through, those of us that are radical or whole life unschoolers, go through the process of learning how to live more respectfully with our children, with not living with punishments or rewards and just living really authentically. And I think for me personally, I had to kind of go through the same thing with my house. I was raised knowing that my mother and grandmother cleaning the house and having an utterly spotless house was a sign of kind of wealth, or a sign of basically culture's idea of what people think of you as being the most important thing was kind of how I was raised. So however your house looked was really representative of what kind of person you were. So my house was spotless growing up. You could eat off the floors, and that came before anything else. My mother cleaning the house came before, her playing with me or her interacting with me, because, she really had that pressure on her back from her mother that the house had to be clean. Well, anybody with young kids knows that it's like, oh my gosh, it's a process that would be going all the time, 24/7, if you were literally trying to attain to that, to the cleanliness that our culture says you have to. I mean, look at commercials. Everything's about cleanliness. And now in our culture's mindset with germs and so forth, it's even worse. Not only do you have to clean, but you have to disinfect everything. Well, I totally cannot live that way and be happy. I can't, and I won't, because I know that my need for an utterly spotless house, and keep in mind, I do like cleanliness. I like order. It's just the type of person I am. I like to have clean, open surfaces for the kids to be able to, learn and explore, have room for them to pull things out, like puzzles and Play-Doh and whatever else they want to check out at the time. But it's definitely a balance. It's finding that balance of your house need for utter cleanliness should not come before or override anybody else's needs in the house. We have 5 people that live here. I'm the only one that needs that utter cleanliness. So it's a matter of, okay, I have to sacrifice a little to a little of my ideals to make sure that everybody's happy too. So I've really, really relaxed since having kids, and my kids would rather play with me or interact with me than me be cleaning all day. And so I try to, I'll pick up at the end of the day. I'll go around and pick everything up after everybody's asleep maybe. But it definitely is a mindset of you have to really reprogram your mind, your neuroconnectors that connect seeing a mess with utter disorder or chaos or something have to be reconnected. Like when I see, for example, a magazine cut up in the corner, and seeing all the little pieces of the magazine. I mean, a lot of us will even hear that and be like, oh my goodness, cut up magazine on the floor. It's dirty, we have to clean it. But I look at that now, and my connectors, I reprogram my brain to see gratitude. I see that on the floor, and my heart fills with gratitude and love for my kids that, oh my goodness, how lucky am I to have such amazing children that they sit up and, they want to cut up magazines and cut and paste, and that they love to explore and learn, and they have the space to do that. I definitely think our mothers and grandmothers and most of culture really values, all of our things and keeping all of our things clean and orderly, almost like your house is a museum, and so it's a museum of all your items. It's definitely things before people, but I definitely don't feel that way anymore. I really believe in people before things, and I want our house to be a workshop. I want our house to be a play area, a library, a children's museum. I want it to be a place where my kids can feel comfortable to explore and learn. So anyone that's struggling with the cleanliness issue with their house, just know as an unschooler that I think it's definitely something you have to work on. It's a journey to get to the place of acceptance and finding that balance for your family. So on that note, my kids just pulled in, so I better go. It's going to get a little loud here in a second, but thanks for your time. See you soon.